Hello, and welcome to this week's Movie Math, where after a long period of stagnation, the movie business is definitely once again in flux. I wouldn't say back on track or better than ever or even settled, but I'm not saying turmoil either, because some interesting stuff is happening. So let's stay with flux. So we've got ourselves a good old-fashioned streaming war, and then some big movies are getting ready to roll the dice right now. Some others are getting pushed back yet again, and some just don't know what to do. Bob Chapek, we're going to talk about you. So let's start off, though, with the information that you're all eager to know. How did the Snyder Cut do? Well, it's going to take a hot minute to find out, because I hear HBO Max and Warner Brothers are going to build a case to really knock everyone's socks off, which means they have to compile a lot of different data from across the globe. Now, this report could come out as early as this week, because everybody wants to share really good news, but it might just be an initial report, not the whole story. Because I'm also hearing that HBO Max and Warner Brothers are very curious to see what viewing looks like for the next week or so. Is the Snyder Cut a flash in the pan, or does it have legs? I have to tell you, I watched it again myself on Saturday, and it has amazing rewatchability, which is incredibly impressive for a 4-hour film. I wasn't sure if it would fly by once again. And it did! I know some of you are way past just 2 watches, but that's very good for the film. Also, though, how many casual viewers will decide to just give it a whirl now to see what all the fuss is about? What? Who hasn't even watched it once? Well, the type of moviegoer who sees a big blockbuster for the first time in its second, third, or fourth weekend. Those people do exist. They have to. I mean, it's not like, it seems like it to us, but not everybody goes and sees these movies opening weekend and then the box office that for the following weeks is repeat views. No, that's people saying, maybe I will watch it. And those people are very important. But all these elements are important, which again is why they're going to want to compile it in a really nice report. But fans can take heart that what we do know already is that the Snyder Cut has crashed HBO Asia. That's fantastic. Were you guys able to ever get it back online? They must have fixed it after a few days. And it's setting records in many foreign countries for sales and downloads, as foreign services toot their own horn, toot, 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 not only to celebrate, but to get, again, those other people who are casual viewers to say, hey, maybe I should watch it. That's why box office headlines are so valuable, because sometimes we're all lemmings. And if we see everybody running in a certain direction, we're like, what's going on over there? And that's really important. That's really, and the Snyder Cut definitely has that factor. Also, perhaps the sweetest victory of all. I'm sorry, Marvel fans, but don't worry. Just don't worry. This is, let DC have its freaking day, right? I know some of you are like loath to do it, but I'm sorry, it happened. Because after years of getting knocked around by Marvel, with Marvel being like, we'll open our movie or show whenever we damn well feel like it. Well, this time, Warner Brothers and DC did that, and they were finally able to, I would say, severely ding. I don't want to say it was that, like they didn't KO Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is what I had in my notes at first, but I think severely ding is a good, I'm being very careful with my word choices today. I think severely ding is the way to go. Now, to also be fair, this was partially Falcon and the Winter Soldier's own fault. Perhaps they got a little too comfortable in the number 1 position, because the debut episode, it doesn't have any big reveals, and I think that some fans are burned by the lack of big reveals in story development in WandaVision. It had great character development, but what about story development? I've seen a number of you say that you're just going to wait to binge Falcon and Winter Soldier so you don't have that week-to-week frustration. It's fun if it's going to pay off, less fun if it doesn't. I know some of you very vehemently defend WandaVision, as you should, but at the end of the day, it's the numbers that really decide whether or not something was a good idea. And as I've discussed with you in the wake of WandaVision, Kevin Feige has decided that the television shows are not must-see viewing to understand what's going on in the MCU. That's still movies only. And if he's going to try and protect the movies, I think that everybody has to understand, from Feige to the fans, that that's going to mean sacrificing the shows just a little bit. Because, you are literally protecting the movies at the expense of the shows. So you should expect to see that reflected in viewing and audience reaction. I mean, it trended in the morning on Twitter, but it did not stay there all day like the Snyder Cut did. Let's see what Falcon and Winter Soldier, though, to be fair, also has in store for its remaining 5 episodes. They could have some really wow moments, but out of the gate, it is definitely no WandaVision in terms of audience interest. MCU and Disney Plus look smarter than ever for pushing Loki back to June to give fans a bit of a breather. Perhaps you can have too much of a good thing. But back to Snyder Cut dominance. A lot of you were like, yeah, get back to how the Snyder Cut ruled. Well, it did. Falcon and Winter Soldier had its date first, with Snyder Cut moving at the last minute to the day before to get some distance from Warner Brothers' not-so-friendly fire. Warner Brothers, I'm sure, is like, it's all good now, baby, and it is. Well, I don't think we want to hold grudges here. We just want to move forward. But anyway, the DCEU finally has a property that is a true titan, and now it can go wherever it wants to go. And that has got to be making hashtag Restore the Snyderverse even more attractive to HBO Max and Warner Brothers. And here's a little tidbit for you, because I know you're hungry. I hear Jason Kilar, who of course runs all of Warner Media, is quite pleased. Warner Media, of course, runs both HBO Max and Warner Brothers, which are actually different divisions of Warner Media, but because HBO Max was so soft out of the gate, Warner Brothers now has more creative control of HBO Max. But still, it's technically its own entity under Jason Kilar, so it's important for him to be so happy. And he is! But even beyond Marvel versus DC, this weekend was a valuable lesson and a warning sign for Hollywood as it aggressively expands into streaming. There is not enough room in a single weekend for a big movie, especially a 4-hour one, and the episode of a hot new show. So just like studios balance out the release schedule for movies, counter-programming instead of, they give similar movies breathing room. They rarely go head-to-head on similar projects. But streaming shows will now have to factor into that same schedule because while it's 2 different distribution systems, it's still one audience. But even more complicated is what happens when you have shows that release week to week. Netflix, this is another thing that I guess is good with Netflix and why it hasn't been a problem before, is that Netflix releases its shows all at once. So they're technically just really long movies that take the whole weekend. But with Falcon and Winter Soldier and other upcoming shows, like the upcoming HBO Max shows from DC having week-to-week releases, where will you find room for a movie? It's going to get really difficult. We'll see. We'll see how they figure this one out. I think there are going to be a lot of casualties before they do. Now, speaking of similar movies rarely going head-to-head, sure enough, late Thursday, Venom 2 blinked and moved yet again from June to now September to escape F9, which itself had moved to Venom 2's past June date just a few weeks ago. Now, as for Black Widow, was something else you're all very eager to hear about. Word is, through the trades, that the movie's fate will once again be a last-minute decision for Disney, releasing it either day and date on Disney Plus Premier Access, also in theaters, or move it to Shang-Chi's July date, shifting all Marvel movies yet again. You're wondering why you aren't seeing advertisements for other Marvel movies? This is likely why. Don't underestimate Bob Chapek's desire to make a buck. In fact, he's even bragging I think just the other day, that customers love the theme parks right now more than they ever did, even pre-pandemic. And a lot of theme park fans are saying that's just a bold-faced lie. For Chapek laying the groundwork to keep current cost-saving measures permanent, like lack of parades, lack of fast pass, some restaurants only open on certain days. That's real bad. Bob Chapek was infamous as the head of Disney Parks for his Scrooge-like behavior. And you might be like, well, they weren't so bad back then, but that's because he still worked for Bob Iger. But as Bob Iger continues to phase himself out, his last day is December 31st, 2021. Many people are still waiting to see what Bob Chapek-run Disney Empire really looks like. I'm afraid you should be too. I hope this goes okay. The stock's higher than it's ever been before, though, and as long as Chapek has that power, he's going to see how far he can go before you actually don't go or don't see something. It's going to be interesting. Although a lot of you really have taken a stand on Premier Access, so he's not invulnerable. All right, so back to Black Widow. Well, obviously Black Widow on Premier Access for $20 is the way to go, with the simultaneous release in theaters. Don't be surprised if Chapek hopes the third time's the charm with Black Widow. And he might just be right, because many of you said this is one film you will pay $30 to get for Premier Access. But even though you get it in just less than 30 days, you can buy it on digital for the exact same price with all the extras. I think the Black Widow, everybody wants to know what happens. You just can't wait. Because, some of you say, I've waited long enough. But what about a movie like Cruella? Would you wait less than 30 days? I'm not sure. I think both those movies would be awfully tempting, and I'm curious as to what you would do. He's going to really try and get that $30 price point through. Okay. Also, something else that's going to influence all these decisions is that the box office is still simply not there. The trades are trying their hardest to put a positive spin on it, saying, oh my God, the movie-going is surging in New York City and now Los Angeles. So many people are going. Who cares? Look at these national numbers. It's not enough. Who cares if Raya fell just 10% in its third weekend? Although Kelly Marie Tran is really working hard to promote that movie. They did an event at the El Capitan Theater in Los Angeles over the weekend, so kudos to her for working so hard. I'm sure the studio and other studios, will see that and see that she's a really good person to do business with. But it's still $10 million behind Tom and Jerry, which came out just the week before, and it's less than half of The Croods 2. I guess you could argue with just a 10% drop, maybe it'll get there, but come on. I mean, this is not a market anybody wants to solely rely on right now. I mean, I'm not lying. It's as plain as those box office numbers that are written down there. I mean, the trades can try as hard as they want, but we can see the numbers. Speaking of numbers, The Courier had a solid debut at $2 million. I mean, 4 is where most movies have been opening right now as the norm, as that should be hopefully the floor. So that's still half that. But considering that The Courier looks like it is a streaming movie, the fact that people went out to see it is very nice for that film. It's great. It'll do even better on streaming because it clearly looks like a streaming movie. But the real test, of course, as we've been saying, will be Nobody, Godzilla vs. Kong, and then Mortal Kombat, April 16th. And that is like the point of no return, Back to the Future reference, for the mouse when it comes to deciding what to do with Black Widow. So you'll probably, if we don't have an answer by then, once they see the weekend box office for Mortal Kombat, Disney will make a call. It's worth noting again that Godzilla vs. Kong and Mortal Kombat will be available day and date in theaters and on HBO Max at no extra cost, although HBO Max is the most expensive streaming service, while Nobody from Uni will hit PVOD for a $20 rental in just 17 days. I'll be reviewing that this week. I saw that last week. It's quite good. Now, before we chart it up, a word from Discovery Plus. And today's Movie Math is brought to you by Discovery Plus. This new streaming service already has 12 million subscribers, and they're debuting new original content every week, like some of this stuff. For instance, did you know Good Eats is back with Good Eats: The Return? And you can't have Good Eats without Alton Brown, who's back too, exploring all your favorite foods. The all-new Season 16 is a Discovery Plus exclusive. Plus, a new 90 Day Fiancé series. I know how much you like 90 Day Fiancé. This is the single life. It just started, following 6 90 Day Fiancé favorites who are now single and looking for love again. It's tough to dive back into the dating pool, but so much fun to watch someone else do it. And finally, there's a new show, The Deadly Type with Candice DeLong. Join the famous former FBI profiler as she highlights the personality traits that can lead to murder. All of these shows and more are available on Discovery Plus, and you can tune in today via the link down below. It's $4.99 a month with ads and $6.99 a month ad-free, and you can try it for free for 7 days. And thanks again to Discovery Plus for sponsoring this episode of Movie Math. As for what people have been watching, let's start with our Nielsen charts as usual. I love having them as part of our discussion. They are, of course, a recent addition. So with original shows, WandaVision is still stuck at number 3 with its 7th episode. It can't get higher than that. Darn it! Because Netflix's Cecil Hotel and Firefly Lane still have more viewership. Cecil Hotel is only 4 episodes, but again, they all debut at once. It's this damn minutes thing, which is really messing things up. But so far, no one else has been able to deliver a better streaming chart, so this is what we have. Once we have Falcon and Winter Soldier and even the Mighty Ducks, and you have some overlap and people are hopefully still watching WandaVision, maybe Disney Plus can get more than one show on this list at a time. And wow, Kevin James's The Crew is on here. That man knows how to make a sitcom. As for movies streaming that week, remember Nielsen is a couple of weeks behind. The edgy I Care a Lot more than edged out Flora and Ulysses in the first weekend for both. And look, Nomadland also debuted that weekend, and it was also in the top 10 for Hulu. Very impressive for Chloe Zhao. That seems to actually have an audience. I can't believe it. I can't believe that Nomadland has rebounded like this. It's very, very strong for its Best Picture Oscar chances. As for Netflix this week, Yes Day is still number one. I really did not care for that movie. Did any of you watch it, or people hate watching it? Maybe you're watching it and enjoying it. I'm interested. Along with Netflix's unusual assortment, showcasing that the streaming service thinks outside the box, which keeps its viewers happy, and on Netflix. That's interesting because, Disney Plus has a very clear brand, whereas Netflix is all over the place. And they're constantly discovering new things, like their quasi-documentaries are going really great for them. They have 2 of them in the top 10. And the last blockbuster is just a straight-up documentary. People are loving that over there. So Netflix really knows how to stay ahead of the curve. And then on iTunes, it's great to see Promising Young Woman, Wonder Woman 1984, and A League of Their Own, love that movie, in the top 10 during Women's History Month. Along with The Little Things, Warner Brothers has 2 titles in the top 10. Their next stop after HBO Max. First, it goes theaters and HBO Max. Then it goes to PVOD for rental, which is what Little Things is right now. And then you can purchase on PVOD, which is where the stage that Wonder Woman 1984 is at right now. So they're starting to kind of get an assembly line going, just like Uni has had, up and running for the past couple of months. But Warner Brothers' plan is finally starting to, really start to chug along. I'm curious, where are you watching these movies? Are you watching them on HBO Max? Are you waiting for them to hit PVOD? And do you rent them, or do you wait till you can purchase? I'm just curious where you are on the assembly line. All right, and then it'll eventually head back to HBO Max. It doesn't matter. This is it, because, when they head back to Disney Plus, they're at no extra cost, but they start out at HBO Max on no extra cost. So that's interesting. All right, so as for this coming week, Nobody hits theaters Friday, while Godzilla vs. Kong debuts in theaters overseas, yet its review embargo still doesn't lift until the Monday after. I've seen the film, and I can talk to you about it then. Netflix's movie of the week is Bad Trip. You might recall that was going to come out in theaters. I believe it actually even leaked a couple of months ago, but now it'll finally be officially released on Netflix. Then The Falcon and Winter Soldier gets even more company on Fridays, as The Mighty Ducks debuts on Disney Plus and Invincible on Amazon. That will be the first 3 episodes, I believe, of both. Mighty Ducks is they're both half-hour shows. So you'll get a movie, basically, on Friday for both. I've watched Invincible. It's so freaking good. I can't believe it. And The Mighty Ducks I'll be watching this week, and my reviews for both will go up this week before Friday. Also on Friday, Netflix's The Irregulars drops its entire season, as does season 2 of Solar Opposites on Hulu, while Genius Aretha also starts tonight. That's a 4-night event on National Geographic. So much to watch. But now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the Snyder Cut ticket, or should I say menu page, montage. We've done ticket montages before, and it's so nice to be doing one again, but I have to say, I've never seen all of you look just so darn happy. It was just a joy to see your pictures come in all weekend, and now I'm so happy to be able to share them with you. We did it!